Motivation is a key psychological skill. Although when I talk about psychological skills, and it goes for uh, probably all of these nine skills that I've been discussing and that I continue to discuss over the next whatever couple of weeks. Uh, it can't be necessarily chosen. You can't simply decide to be more motivated, right? You probably can see that how that might be true. Motivation is something that arises in us for whatever reason, and as I've been talking about over the last few days, the most powerful form of motivation, at least according to self determination theory, Richard Ryan, Edward Deci, is that which is intrinsic to you and I. The motivation that gives us a fire in our belly to get up and get going, rather than those which are extrinsic. The threat of punishment or the promise of reward, contingent, contingent rewards or punishments are less powerful. So we're talking about motivation. It's a key aspect, a key component of the nine mental skills. And I'm talking about this topic over a period of 30 days by way to promote the Essential Mental Skills course that I'm running, currently putting together. If you'd like to know more about essential mental skills, check out the link below. It'll take you to the page where you can get on the wait list, and I'll tell you a bit more about that when it launches. So here we are, day 7. I'm talking about motivation again, but more particularly around willpower and that kind of self-control aspect. Self-control is known to be important for those who wish to achieve what it is they want to achieve in the domains of sport and work and business and hobbies, you name it, music, the arts. If you don't exercise some self-control, we can't get things done. If we can't zero in our focus and attention on what it is we want and keep all distractions aside, and sometimes willpower is required a lot of the time. However, it's important to note that willpower is not enough. Willpower, according to some theorists, is a finite resource. And I know you probably felt that. I've felt it too. We're enthused about a particular thing. Maybe it's losing weight, or maybe it's developing a new habit, or maybe it's building a business, or whatever it happens to be. We're enthusiastic about it. We want to achieve it. It sounds good. We have a picture of the outcome, and we say, yes, I want to be there. But something goes wrong. And, New Year is probably the one period or one time of the year where everyone gets enthusiastic about something that they want to achieve. And then within a month, it all falls apart. So psychology and the psychology of peak performance recognizes that self-control, willpower, is important in the achievement of goals. Now, you can probably see how, as I'm talking here, a lot of the terms and a lot of these mental skills that I'm discussing that are part of the 9, they are interrelated and they overlap and they're intertwined, and you can't talk about one in isolation. In fact, they're all required and they're all active and important all at once. But it allows us kind of break it down and discuss them a little bit. That's why we do that, right? Helps us kind of form mental pictures of cognitive pictures of these frameworks. They help us get things done. And that's what the 9 mental skills is about. So self-control as a means by which to achieve what you want is important. But often we fall down, often we fail to achieve what we want to achieve. Now, there might be many reasons for that. Maybe you bit off more than you could chew. Maybe you got overexcited and overenthusiastic about, achieving this thing. And you went 2 feet in without considering, possible outcomes or factors that might be influencing your success. And so it's not enough to have willpower. That's really the bottom line. But there is this idea when it comes to willpower that somehow, you're deficient and that there's a problem with you and that you just simply didn't work hard enough. This is common. This is a common idea in the minds of a lot of people, and they might beat themselves up over this or beat other people up over it, that they simply didn't try hard enough. Well, that's a bit of a myth. and I wanted to talk about that a little bit today. Um, and so in psychology, they talk about ego depletion in self-regulation. So ego depletion, Baumeister was one of the first to talk about this in terms of motivation. It suggests that uh, self-control relies on this limited resource, kind of like a finite bucket of energy, mental energy, that's required to achieve a goal. And it seems reasonable. You know, we've all had that experience of not having enough on a Monday to keep the diet going, and we kind of fall off the wagon a little bit, or maybe it's alcohol or some other toxic substance that you become reliant on. It's difficult to get off it. And that's because there's a lot more going on than simply your conscious will and intent. If you've ever had to give up the smokes, you know what I mean. I gave up the smokes probably 25 years ago, and I only successful after numerous attempts. And willpower was a factor in that. But other things were important too, like not being around people who smoked, like staying out of the pub, like picking up another habit, like having support, peer support, or social support, really important. But getting back to this idea of ego depletion and that willpower is like a finite bucket of energy in your brain or somewhere, this was kind of refuted or argued against by the likes of Carol Dweck, someone we'll speak about. Did I speak about her already? I did, yeah. When we were talking about mindset earlier on in the first couple of sessions. So Carol Dweck and her colleagues, they looked at the idea that your belief about willpower matters. So in other words, if you believe that willpower is a finite resource, well then you're more likely to give up when you run out, so to speak, or when your mental energy becomes depleted. However, if you believe that it's not a finite resource, if you believe that your mental energy can be replenished, well then you're more likely to continue to keep working. You know, remember what we said about mindset, about whether or not you have a growth oriented mindset or a fixed oriented mindset. Your theory of self, your locus of control. Where do you think the power is? Is it in here or is it out here? And the major power influencing your success. So they began to look at this and they realized, yes, so your attitude, your mindset, your belief system around your own capacity to keep going or not has a bearing on whether you do or not, right? Does that make sense? So if you believe you have more mental resources, or you believe that with a rest they can be replenished, you're more likely to keep going. Baumeister subsequently, on the back of Carl Dweck and others' work on this topic, revised their kind of limited theory of or willpower as a finite resource idea, to include these self theories, these thoughts about oneself. And so what you and I can do to help ourselves to replenish our willpower, so to speak, to avoid falling off the wagon when things get difficult. So there are things you can do. The first thing is working with a group. So if you have a goal to build a business, trying to do that on your own, your chances of success are a lot lower. So find a group of people who are on the same path as you. So join a network group of young entrepreneurs. Associate yourself with people who have been down the road where you want to go and learn from them. So build yourself a peer support group. If you're trying to lose weight, join a club, hire a coach, and be a part of a group who are all trying to achieve similar goals. And the coach, that's another thing you can do for yourself. Find somebody who has experience in this area and can help you through the difficult periods. Not just the peer group, because sometimes your peers will just tell you things that you want to hear, but a coach is more likely to challenge you. And so two things then. Find yourself a peer support group who which is comprised of people on the same journey as you. Hire a coach or work with a coach. Maybe it's in the gym or maybe it's a business coach or something like that to help you get where you want to go. Find the holes in the road. Um, Pick a period of time where you can actually execute your goal, the steps in your goal, without interruption. Interruption, distraction, etc., they can really damage your chances of result. So willpower is built through these additional supports. Um, if you're interrupted, you're going on holidays, it's not a good idea to maybe go on that diet that you wanted to go on. Not the diet, but that change of lifestyle, all right? Giving up the smokes, not a good idea. Maybe if you know you have an event coming up and it's going to be a challenge, although there's nothing to say you can't get through that. These things can throw you off the rails a bit. Um, if you're watching your diet and your nutrition and you're trying to eat healthier, don't go shopping in the supermarket when you're hungry. That's a really kind of it's the worst thing you can do, and anyone who's ever done it knows what I'm talking about. So these are things you can do. Also, what you're doing right now, you're watching this psychoeducation. So you're learning about yourself, your mind, your body, and how it works. So when you educate yourself on these things, you're more likely to rely on this new information to help you through these difficult periods. So here's something else you can do, and I'm going to be talking about goal setting tomorrow and the next day and the next day. It's really important to establish value-based goals. That's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So goals that are aligned with your values, you're more likely to achieve, rather than heart goals rather than head goals, if you want to label it as such. So all these things are important. Okay, get yourself a peer support group. Join a community of people who are on the same road as you. Hire a coach or pay a coach to work with you, help you identify the pitfalls and give you that support and stimulation. What else did I say? Set goals that are realistic, smart goals. We'll talk about that tomorrow, the next day, and that are value based. Okay, so that are aligned with your values. Choose a period of time to execute your goal where you won't be interrupted. That things won't get in your way, like social outings and other challenges. Right. So you get the picture. Willpower can work in your favor. It is important. However, you got to support it with these extra things. It's not enough on its own. And there is some truth to the fact that it becomes depleted, especially when you're at those weaker moments. So, if you want to learn more about motivation, amongst the other 8 mental skills, there's a link below for the Essential Mental Skills course. It's one that I'm building. It's full of lectures and slides and PDF content, and I'm there as well. We've got some live meetings, webinars where we hook up as a group to learn from each other. Lots of good stuff in there, kind of taking these ideas further and helping you integrate them into your work and your life and so forth. I'm back tomorrow and I'm on day 8 and we're talking about values first, value-based goal setting. So make sure you tune in for that. Okay, for now, thanks for watching. Mind yourselves.